Good morning, everyone. We are continuing our Bay Street walk. We've gone from Bay 7 to Bay 23rd, and today we are on to Bay 25th. We'll do Bay 25th. Hope I'm getting my Bay Streets right, because now it's getting to a point where I'm not, keeping track. But right now we're not on Bay 25th. We are on 21st Drive, and we are walking one of the smaller roads within this is what you're looking at both sides is the Shore Haven apartment complex. A lot of apartment buildings on both sides of me. As you can see. And we are now going to be on Bay 25th Street. So this is Bay 25th, 26th. We'll skip 21st Avenue. And then we'll have Bay 28th and Bay 29th Street. That's it. We are officially on the Bay Street now. So these Bay Streets now, as we get closer to the end, we'll start ending at Cropsey Avenue. There's still going to be some Bay Streets as we go down that go down to Shore Parkway, but for the most part, you're going to run either into maybe a building complex, or you're going to run into the Bell Parkway. So after this street, the next three Bay Streets end at Cropsey Avenue because they run into 21st Avenue Park. Well, Bay 26 is going to run into this building. And the other two are going to run into the park. So yeah, I am continuing this promise of taking everybody through the Bay Streets until we hit Bay 54th, which Bay 54th really isn't a real street anyway. I mean, it is, but it's, if any of you have ever been down to Home Depot, and I guess if you come in off of Cropsey, I believe, that's Bay 54th Street. that street going into Home Depot. So don't expect to find many homes on that street when we get there. The weather continues to be gloomy. The sun has not been out since last week. So since I want to say when we started this, the Bay 7th walk, when we started that was the last time the sun was out. We're going on a week now. We still have more rain coming. We have a big rain event tomorrow on Sunday. I'm recording this on Saturday. I've lost track of days. I don't know what day it is today. January, whatever. I'll put the date in the description, but anyway, we're getting towards the end of January. February comes in next week. But yeah, we have a lot more rain coming. And then that rain tomorrow is supposed to turn into snow overnight, so we might get an inch of snow by Monday morning. So if we're lucky, maybe we'll do some Bay Street walks in the snow. We'll see what happens. Oh, look at that. They opened up a Texas chicken and burgers over here. That's interesting. It's the last place I would ever think of seeing one of those. Pino's Pizza. Pino's Pizza's been around for a long time. I hear a little bit of clicking. I don't know where it's coming from. Something is banging against my mic, so. Or is it the camera? Oh well. Hopefully it's not too loud if you hear it. So these streets, again, it's going to be one of these streets where you have a mix of all different types of styles of homes, such as this one right here. Looks like a condo type of building right up against an apartment building. And then across the street, you'll see some of the detached style private family homes with probably an apartment. And then up here you have, this home has solar panels on the roof. You got these interesting style homes. You could almost not see the top floor windows. I don't know if that's an official patio up there. I think that's not really considered a space where people are sitting up there, but we are on Benson Avenue. Remember how I said Benson Avenue is two-way and then one-way and then two-way again? Well, this is the first spot where it knocks into 20th Avenue and then you have to turn the corner and it becomes a one-way street. Old house. Now, a very tragic thing I'll talk about right here is this traffic light. There's a reason why this traffic light is here. Years ago, a kid was riding on a scooter. He was with his mother and he ran, he went through and a van ran him over and killed him. That's why that traffic light is there. This is an old home. The patio. Some of these streets, you gotta watch because a lot of these streets, when you're crossing the intersections, they'll go right through the stop sign. It happens to me almost every walk. I mean, I never show it on camera because the camera's facing forward, but I can't tell you how many times I have to stop and let somebody run the stop sign. are getting onto 86th Street. Yeah, we'll be walking under the L every once in a while for the rest of these walks until we get down to, well, for the remainder of all the walks, really. Because even when we get down to Stillwell Avenue, where the train turns over by 25th Avenue, we'll still have to be walking. Over by where the trains are, so. Got some art. On to Bay 26th. I want to get across the street to some homes I want to look at across the street. This side is mostly, you know, you got an apartment building over here. You got some of these condos, well, they're probably apartments by now. Oh, Fetter boxes. Yeah, I can see it says Fetter on them. Got some old homes coming up right here on both sides. We've walked down this block before, a while back when we did a short parkway walk. We came down this block. You can see on that side there's some old homes. It is a Saturday morning. You probably see more people out than normal since nobody's working, so everyone uses the weekend to go get stuff done. Another new traffic light that they've put up. They put a lot of traffic lights up on Benson Avenue down here. Now this block had probably one of the most beautiful Victorian homes you've ever seen in all of Bath Beach, and it was torn down to build condo unit we're going to pass by in about a minute. But it was considered the haunted house of Bath Beach, because it just looked like, we used to call it the Scooby-Doo house. If you go back and look at, you come down to this street in Google Earth and you go back a few years, there's like a time machine option where you could say, check the dates. You could go back a few years, you'll see the house. And it was over there, right there where you see those red brick condos that are up. But it was a really beautiful house. It had a lot of land. You see this whole condo complex right here? This was all the land for that house. It was a big house. I was surprised they tore it down. I mean, that's the thing I was talking about in the last walk, where over here they can tear down the houses. There's no zoning that declares it historical. So, but you could just see how much land this house had. But it was, you know, to be fair, it was broken down. It was in disrepair. It was a mess. And at one point it was infested with raccoons. So they wound up tearing the house down and building those condos. But if it would have been restored, it would have been probably one of the most beautiful houses in this area. It was an amazing looking house. Probably looked a lot better when it was new. I would imagine these walks are going to be shorter than the previous walks because we're getting into the areas where the streets are shorter. When we get down to like the Bay 40s, I would say even when we get down to like, you know, right before we get to Bay 50th, when we get down there, the streets will get even shorter. So we'll probably just, I think the last walk we do, we're probably going to do a bunch of Bay streets and just wrap it up in one walk. Look at this house. Look at that. I don't think I've ever noticed that because I'm always on that side of the street. That is quite interesting. That is odd, actually. It doesn't look very stable. It looks like it would just fall off if there was too much weight on it, but this old house right here. And these blocks have changed over the years. I mean, like this is another condo like type apartment unit that had a big house on it, on this land. And we are already done with Bay 26th. All right, we're on Cropsey. I said this earlier, if you're just joining these walks, we started base 7th. So that's where the base streets start in Bath Beach. There is no 1 through 6. They start at base 7th. When you get south of 86th Street, that's where the base streets start. They go from 86th Street up to mostly Shore Parkway. Although down here, they're terminating at Cropsey Avenue. And for every avenue, there are 2 base streets. So right now we're hitting 21st Avenue after walking those 2 base streets, and then we'll hit another 2. And then the one exception is base 16th Street. Is the only street that goes through 86th Street all the way down to New Utrecht Avenue, possibly because of the old construction rail lines that used to bring the workers into the neighborhoods to build the houses out. We've made our way to Bay 25th and 26th. We're about to hit Bay 28th and Bay 29th Street. And eventually, as I get close to the end of this, I will create a playlist just for these Bay streets. So for anybody that misses it, there'll be a playlist just for the Bay streets. And we won't do this again, by the way. That's another thing I've said in previous walks. This is the only time we'll do this. That doesn't mean to say that I won't walk down these streets in the future, you know, depending on if we're doing a storm chase or walking in rain or something like that, or if there's a snowstorm, but we won't do anything dedicated to these streets again. We won't. This is the only time we're going to do this. So this will become history. Now across the street, they have a lot of nice houses across the street. So this is a block where a lot of the houses have survived the condo monster. You could see, if you look at these houses, this is how the streets used to be. So this is a good representation of how all the Bay streets used to be, like this. Used to just have houses and houses next to each other. You got the Bath Avenue Animal Hospital here that's been here for quite some time, many years. And then over there, if you look, there is a housing unit going up where the old Enterprise used to be. We'll talk about that when we get over there. Something happens over here years ago when they tore that down, when they got rid of the Enterprise. So I'll wait until we get over there. There was a lot of controversy back in the day when they took that down. Looks like I got some work going on over here. Look at this house. That's a big house right there. Now there were a couple of houses over here. One they tore down and one they actually are still restoring. I was very surprised they kept it. I'll show you in a second, but that over there, the condo unit used to be a nice house over here. And then over there, they're still doing work, but they decided to keep that house. You could hear the construction going on. Looks like they gave that tree a shave. I gotta watch this guy. I don't know what he's doing. I see. I wasn't paying attention. It looks like they have a street closed here. And he was turning around. You see the street is closed. It looks like it's closed. It doesn't look closed to me though. And remember, we had that construction truck up above, high, up on the street up there. So unless you live on the block, there's no reason to go up there. That looks like a really old home. Let's walk over there. This looks very old. That building back there, you see that building? I actually lived in that building when it was condos. That big building, that's on 21st Avenue. That's a nice house across the street. Yeah, so that building I'm talking about on the next block, I was there from 2011 to 2020. And then I moved back into Dyker Heights. It's an interesting looking top. The way those window frames kind of come out. Once again on 86th Street. You get to see all those streets, all these streets that come in off of 86th Street if you've ever been down here. And you've ever wondered what these streets look like, now you can see them. Nobody that comes into the neighborhood to shop has no reason to go down those streets unless you're trying to park a car, I guess. And you guys see all of the retail here at 86th Street. This is the busiest part of 86th Street. This and the next block are probably the busiest foot traffic areas on 86th Street. And you got the local Burger King that has been here for a long time. This is one of the original businesses that have been down here since I was a kid. Burger King's been down here for okay, I'll try to, yeah, Burger King's been down here for a long time. And by the way, we're on Bay 29th. This is the last street of the leg. Across the street we have some more old styled homes mixed in with some newer condo type buildings. Now when I say condo type buildings, I want to clarify, I don't know for sure that all of these buildings are condos, but sometimes you have, generally they do go up as condos, but then sometimes they'll get rented out. Sometimes they'll be built as condos and they don't sell, and they'll end up as apartments. But for the most part, they're condos. And we will be crossing Benson Avenue once again. They used to have a really big house in that spot right there, and then they built that. A Lego block. A big brick square. So you got a house over there that's split in two residencies. Looks like it had an extension up there to the right. Top right. Now up here where we're walking, I'll cross over to get a better look, but we used to have a Enterprise dealership here. Well, rent a car. You didn't buy cars, you rented them, obviously. And the lot, when it was bought, they were gonna build, without telling anybody, they were gonna build a homeless shelter here. And the people in the neighborhood here, they were not going for that. And there was a lot of protests over here for days. And eventually those plans fell through. And now they just build in these condo units, apartment buildings or whatever. But yeah, they were gonna be, it was gonna be a homeless shelter. All right, we are on the last block for this walk. Bay 29th between Bath and Cropsey. It's quicker than the previous walks, and that's because the streets are getting smaller. And we will continue moving along Bath Beach. After this walk, though, we are officially halfway through. We're halfway done with all of the Bay Streets. Now these condos, I'll say this, these condos that they put up here, they're really nice. They're actually nice. They have some nice cosmetic character to them, so. But yeah, we are now halfway done. And eventually, I guess after the next section, so if I do my little math in my head, the next street is Bay Parkway, that would be Bay 30th, so we'll be starting at Bay 31st. So the next walk will be Bay 31st, 32nd, then it would be 33rd, which doesn't exist, and then 34th and 35th. So we'll be moving into Gravesend soon. Now this house right here, if it's still around, is, I guess we could say this is the only house in Bath Beach that still has a windmill. Some of the houses used to have windmills in them back in the day, used to pull up water, because there was a lot of well water in this area. Oh, it's still there. Right here, there's a windmill. See it? Right there. All right, thanks for tagging along. We will continue the Bay Street walks, and I will catch everyone on the next one.